Hello, Pisces. I hope you guys are doing well. I want to go ahead and get into your mid-May reading for 2019. Let's just shuffle a little bit more and we will get started. Show me energy for Pisces. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And for all of the people that have donated to my channel, I really do want to thank you. That is such a kind thing that you do. I really appreciate it. It helps. It puts food in Marcel's mouth. It's one way to shut him up. So, thank you. Let's go ahead and get into the reading. 3 more times. Okay. Show me for Pisces, please. Nice. Nice. Pisces. So, in regard to this card, the Nine of Swords in reverse, this card talks about releasing mental frustration, things that have bound us up for far too long, things that have stagnated our mind. When we're stuck, you know, it could be, I want to say revolving around a certain person, feelings of negativity and sadness that may be accompanying that person, the desire to, why is that coming through? The desire to want something but let it go. Also, if there's any blockages in your life where you are constantly worried about a specific thing, whether that be work, honestly, I feel that this is more so in regard to standing in your own power, doing things on your own way. I feel that this is talking about more so going along with the energy of, well, it feels like the energy of the Nine of Pentacles, actually. I know that this is the Nine of Swords, but what I'm feeling here is the addition of the Nine of Pentacles. So basically, releasing fear, blockage, and endeavoring into what it is that you need to go towards to make your life better, to stabilize yourself, to be happy on your own, to be doing your own things, to be satiated and, well, sated in what you want, you know, to build your own abundance, to take control back over your life, you know, where you may have lost control, where things of the mind and worries and concerns have basically stopped us from moving forward in our life. This is releasing that. Okay, very good. I'm sorry. I'm not sick anymore, but it doesn't sound like that, right? I don't know what's up. I can't shake this cough thing. I'm sorry. Ugh. Nine of Cups. So what we're talking about here is the energy of its abundance, its emotional satisfaction, it's being involved with people and situations that feed your soul, things that stabilize you emotionally. This can talk about living the good life. It can talk about releasing our worries and concerns in regard to going toward what we want. Things that are going to be stabilizing for us emotionally. For Pisces, that's really big, okay? For Pisces, that can be a very big hurdle. Sometimes we can get very stuck in our emotions and in our hearts in regard to things and not move. We stagnate. Show me more. And this is talking about letting that go, releasing it, recognizing your power and your living more in balance with your intuition and moving towards what you want. Some of you, that's going to be spending more money. Some of you, that's going to be being okay with that, stepping into the next level of your abundance. Or as far as, I don't want to, how do I say that? Stepping into the next level of you trusting that you have more. How about that? You trusting that you can do this. Say, God, I really love strawberries, and I always get the regular ones, but those organic ones really look amazing. But I never get the organic ones because I can't afford them. Yeah, you can. You can afford the organic ones. It's like slowly inching into the progression of taking better care of yourself, taking on more, you know, taking on the responsibility of more so you can have more and start to live more comfortably. I think that that's kind of the progression here. We're leaving that mental state of lack. Here we have Temperance. This is a card of balancing energy out. It's a card of feeling in harmony with things. What do I add into my life? What do I take away? What do I need to focus on and trust that it's going to change the path that I'm on? How do I change the path that I'm on? You know, a lot of us kind of hope that things just kind of fall out of the sky and happen. But the reality is we have to take control of our lives. We have to put in the effort and energy towards what we want, and then we get what we want. It's really simple, but a lot of people have a difficulty doing it. Temperance card is about balancing energy out. It's about, you know, if you've been, you know, here, some of you could be letting go of addictions, okay? Some of you could really be letting go of addictions here with this. This card, this Nine of Cups, can also talk about addiction. Look at this card. This person is kind of a little bit portly, and they've got a bowl of food that is being served to them, plate of food. It can talk about abundance, but it can also talk about gluttony. It can talk about drinking and drugging a little bit, numbing ourselves, self-soothing. This is talking about finding different ways to do it. It's talking about bringing out balance into ourselves. Some of you are going to be needing to have guidance by counselors. Some of you are going to have to get involved with therapy. Nothing wrong with that. That really is a testament to the desire to change. And when we have the desire to change, things change. When we wallow, we wallow. Show me more for Pisces. Page of Cups. So getting into your emotional energy again, connecting with your creativity, being surprised about the things that you might want to engage in your life, being surprised about new things that you might start to take on, like different hobbies, different, you know, some of you might want to learn how to be perfectly taking care of fuchsia plants, you know, it's all specific to your own situation. Some of you, this is artistry. Some of you, this is poetry, filmmaking, photography, you know, getting into things that take your mind away from some of the stuff that you may have been connected to before, where you might have been a little bit more stagnant. It can also talk about balancing out communication between people. It can talk about apologies. It can talk about opening up lines of communication where there's maybe been some conflict in the past for an apology, or at least for some sort of heartfelt opening. But what I'm feeling here is more of a reading towards the self, towards dealing with certain situations that you know have kind of kept you back and hidden from life, and really making a conscious effort to give to what you know changes yourself, your personal being. Show me more for Pisces. So you have the Seven of Wands here. So the Seven of Wands talks about high anxiety situations. If you're dealing with a situation where addiction may be an issue, it's kind of touch and go type of territory. I would say be thankful for the achievements and the failures, because with the failures, it only drives you to get further down into what you want in your life. You know, because you understand so much that, yeah, I failed, but this is something that I don't want. I don't want to continue having this experience with this particular food, addiction, drug, alcohol, sex, whatever it is, you know, trash TV, like whatever it is that you're kind of like numbing yourself with, it's talking about releasing it, but like taking the steps to do so slowly. And it's a progression. That's just life. Life is a progression. But, you know, it happens for you, and it happens more so when we create the movement behind it. The Seven of Wands talks about conflict in... It does talk about conflict and communication somewhat like the Five of Wands, but this is more anxiety. It's about fighting. Sometimes we can fight ourselves. Some of you, though, if you're dealing with a person, it feels like they would want to apologize, but that is met with frustration. That is met with arguments. You know, if you have pent up aggression about somebody, if you've let somebody go from the past and then they pop up trying to balance the situation out, you know, is it going to serve you to pounce on them and be aggressive and angry? Like, sure, it may feel good for the moment, but how effective is that in the communication, you know? So be careful of that. At the bottom of the deck, you have the 10 of Wands. So this is talking about releasing burden. It's talking about letting go of things that you've learned the lessons for. You don't need to hold them any longer. You've actually transmuted the energy, and now you can actually move forward on a new path, move forward with better purpose in your direction because you've understood what you've come through, okay? In this card, the 10 of Wands, the 9 Wands are released. They've been dropped, okay? He's got the 1 staff here. So this is essentially the Ace of Wands. This is talking about finding new purpose. It's talking about getting involved in things that create passion. It's forward movement. It's excitement. It's being engaged in what you do and being desirous of it. It's good stuff. It's good stuff, but it comes from a level of like releasing energy where we've been shackled, you know, either to ourselves, to a way of thinking, to an emotional outpouring towards somebody that's hurt us, or like, you know, we have these crazy addictions to food and alcohol and whatever it is. It's learning those lessons. It's understanding the process and getting that information from yourself, because it's all yours. It's all unique to you. And no matter how many self-help books you can read, the information that you click with is going to be information for yourself. It's the progression within yourself, you know. So learn at your own pace. Okay, so let's go ahead and clarify these cards. Show me the 9 of Swords for Pisces, 9 of Swords in reverse. Empress energy. You had 2 cards pop out, one's face down. 8 of Wands, movement, forward direction. So the Empress here, this is talking about abundance, but she also talks about self-nurturing. She's a nurturer in general. She's somebody that is very abundant in her life. She cares about those around her. You know, if you have somebody coming back to you, the Temperance card can also represent an energy of reconciliation as well. It's smack dab in the middle. Doesn't mean you have to make that reconciliation. The storyline here is somewhat like, if you have somebody coming back, it's not necessarily going to progress in the way that they may want it to. And if you're holding on to an addiction and codependent thinking in regard to somebody that you know is not a good fit for you, you know is a toxic experience and will continue to be, this is time to release that energy. It's time to let it go, and it's time to be able to see the reality of a situation and not be so stuck and stagnant in something. This is time to step into this energy. For this to be underneath the 9 of Swords in reverse, this is talking about finally releasing this type of frustrating mental energy, slaying the dragon in the picture, and turning towards ourselves, turning towards things that create abundance for us in our lives. That literally is, how do I take care of myself? What do I feed myself? What kind of, you know, things am I putting in my life? What am I experiencing outwardly and inwardly? You know, what is the information that I speak? What is the information that I take in? Am I watching horror flicks or, like, you know, trash TV? Like, there's vibrations that go with things, you know, and those accompany the intention of what you watch, what you bring into your life. So we have to be very careful, because we're essentially sponges. You know, we are energies that pick up on everything, especially Pisces. You know, you guys are totally psychic, totally intuitive, and you pick up on so much. Like, I don't know, like, what's so difficult to understand about that? Like, this should make very good sense to you, just because you do pick up on everything. Like, don't deny that. Like, you do. And that's one of the beautiful things about Pisces, but it's also one of the things that can keep them stuck inside, because it's like, it's almost too much to process. So you have to process in increments, and sometimes we just put things on the back burner. And while they may be on the back burner because we're having to deal with this kind of stuff, they're burning it's burning. And those things are the things that we actually need to address. And so it's like what I feel in this energy is happening is that you are addressing them, Pisces. You're actually going back to those back burners and you're turning the fire off and you're looking at everything and you're about to scrub the fuck out of those pots. You might even have to throw them away. Show me, oh, and the 8 of Wands here. So this is forward progression. It can talk about communication, but it's forward progression. It's movement. It is sometimes moving, getting a move on it. Sometimes in consideration to creativity, it's creating within writing, forms of writing, poetry, biographies, autobiographies, whatever you write about, children's stories. You know, there's energy presented here for that. We do have the Empress and the Page of Cups here in regard to this 8 of Wands. I mean, if you're writing about children's stories, what an amazing thing. And what a unique lens to view it through, like those stories through no other than a Pisces view. Like, how darling is that? I don't mean to like make it sound saccharine sweet, but like, wow, like what a beautiful gift. You know, you guys have a very different way of seeing things and experiencing things, especially in regard to children. Now, it also could mean somebody is coming back to apologize to you because they see you change in your life. You know, there seems to be duality here in this reading, and it seems to be two very clear pictures that I'm receiving, okay? Show me the 9 of Cups for Pisces, please. 9 of Cups, you have the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords here for the 9 of Cups, this is basically talking about releasing things. It's cutting things down. It's being very honest with ourselves. It's being very honest with ourselves in regard to addiction, the things that cause us to blind ourselves, the things that cause us to put blinders on ourselves. Be very real about that. Be very honest about what it is that you are connected to, the things that take you over, the things that you may be giving more power to than you might necessarily, or that you don't necessarily need to, okay? The things that take you over. Be very real about yourself. It's time to cut it out. It's time to trim the fat. It's time to allow things to dissolve and die, because that is the transformation kicker. Like, that creates movement. That creates a realization towards what we actually want to do. And when we let go of this other energy that we've kind of just kept stagnant, we can do that. We can move towards what we want. So what better time to do it than now? But it happens after healing. It happens after recognizing what we are experiencing in our life, becoming tired of it, whether that be an addiction to a person or a thing, and releasing it, you know? What brings you abundance? What do I have to get real about in my life to bring abundance to myself? What do I need to cut out of my life to bring abundance to myself? Who do I need to cut out of my life to bring abundance to myself? This Ace of Swords is about clarity. Clarity. And I feel it's clarity within transformation, clarity within the understanding of what's going to change your experience. Okay, Pisces? Show me Temperance for Pisces. The Tower. Okay. So Temperance and the Tower. The Temperance card again is about balance. Sometimes I feel here too, well, not sometimes, I do feel here right now that this is more in regard to a connection with another person. This is literally talking about you may have somebody come in very unexpectedly and communicate their feelings to you, and it's going to bring conflict. And while it brings conflict, it almost feels though that you've already experienced enough of it to recognize that it's not something that you want to maintain. It's not something that's healthy for you. And I think that that's actually the most important part of it, versus all of the feeling of, I want this person, or like, I am so connected to this person and maybe it can change. Look at it through the lens of, is this healthy for me? Has the experience with this person created a healthy outcome for me? Am I a ball of mess right now? Am I all emotionally discombobulated because of the experiences that I've had with a person, and now they want to come back and communicate? Does it leave me in conflict? Am I constantly in anxiety because of this person and because of my addiction to them and the addiction to the potential outcome that I want, even though it's not being presented to me in such a way that I want it as? Does that make sense? So yeah, it's about breaking things down. It's also about shock. You know, in regard to addictions and things that are not necessarily connected to people, it's about recognizing what we need to release in our life. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard because we have grown so accustomed to experiencing life a certain way. We've grown so accustomed to experiencing our emotions and our emotional baggage in a certain way. Emotional baggage and, you know, being caught up in our minds and our hearts and like worry about stuff. It can create a series of things that causes so many problems, you know, in so many different areas. So it's about really getting involved with what works for yourself. What do you need to trim the fat about? What do you need to release? What do you need to essentially let go of so you can bring balance into your life? Okay, Pisces? Either way, it's going to be a dedication. This is going to require a fair amount of dedication in regard to how you go about it, how you release things, and also how you truly step away from something without going back and going back. Okay, well, I want to leave it, but I'm going to go back to it just for a little bit longer, or this person might change. Like what, like if they present themselves to you where it hasn't changed, where it's not moving and it's not harmonious and it leaves you in full-on anxiety, is it healthy? Look at it through the lens of, is it healthy? Okay? Be a person, say your friend was going through the same thing. Tell them what you would, well, I don't know what you would tell them. I would tell them to go for the thing that is healthy, to go for the avenue that decreases anxiety, frustration, addiction, connection to toxic experiences. Release that, you know. And sometimes that can be harder said than, or easier said than done, but this is what this is calling for. It's calling for a revision of your life, but also a trusting that things are moving forward on the path that you need to be on. It's just to get onto that path, you need to cut some things out, okay? Because the next phase is better. That's what I'm feeling. Okay. So I didn't even speak yet, and these cards are popping out. You got two of them. For the Page of Cups, we have the Three of Pentacles and we have the Two of Swords. So in regard to a person, and Strength at the bottom of the deck, in regard to a person, this is basically somebody that may want to apologize for you. They may want to create another connection with you. I know that the Three of Pentacles can talk about, you know, setting forth intention and goals to be with other people that are of like mind. And while that may be, I feel that this is only communication. This person may want to ask you to date again. That might be a possibility. And it has you in their head. They're in your head. There may have also been a fair amount of stagnation between the two of you for quite a while. And so it does come as a surprise. Absolutely. And it's like, why is this person speaking this truth now? Why have they been blinded for so long? You know, while you've been blinded in your own way regarding a situation dealing with somebody, they've been blinded for their own reasons. And it's like, do you really want to know those reasons? Is it important to you? Or does it bring more conflict? Does it bring anxiety? Does it make you want to fight and pounce on them and get angry with them? So with this Two of Swords here, this talks about basically being in your head, not communicating. It's not moving. You know, it doesn't move. I think what we're more so indicative of here right now is the Seven of Wands with the anxiety, you know, the anxiety-ridden aspect of this situation where we are, I guess, grasping at straws to get better, you know, grasping at straws to get out of this and not experience any more frustration with somebody, which is great. Drop the baggage. Drop the baggage. In this card, we've dropped the baggage. We have the one wand that moves us forward. Show me the Seven of Wands for Pisces. Eight of Cups. With you at the bottom of the deck, Pisces. Queen of Cups, good for you. The Queen of Cups is somebody who is incredibly compassionate. This is also compassion for the self. It's knowing what works for you on an emotional level and really going after it, recognizing what doesn't work for you and releasing it, okay? Here we have the Eight of Cups. Now, the Eight of Cups, everything that I've explained as far as a person is concerned in this situation is basically where we are, I don't necessarily want to say pining over somebody, like pining over them still, but like feeling that the energy is not clear yet. And it's our own thing, okay? So here we already have somebody in the background walking away, but she's here just staring into this cup. This is the Ace of Cups, but here it's not doing very well, okay? It's somebody who's, I'm getting the energy of the Five of Cups. It's somebody who is saddened, they have regret, they have frustration. Now this person may have frustration and regret for walking away from you and you're reconsidering this love, but it's also, I think this person may need to stay away because the situation brings more conflict, brings more frustration and anger to you, and it's important that you clear anger in your life right now, okay? It's not a healthy place to be in. The Queen of Cups is beautiful. She's very intuitive. She's in touch with her feelings and emotions. She pays attention to love, and she also recognizes what is love and what isn't love. You have the Death card underneath the Queen. You have the Death card underneath the Queen of Cups. The Death card is Scorpio's energy. It's a Scorpio card. Could be dealing with a Scorpio, could be dealing with a Pisces, Cancer as well. Either way, this is transformation. It can also be endings that need to happen. On top of this card, or on the bottom of Death, you have the King of Cups. So the King of Cups is Scorpio energy. Could most definitely be dealing with the Scorpio here. But what do we have here? I want to show you. We have the Queen of Cups. We have the Death card. We have the King of Cups. The King of Cups is pouring out his cup of love, his cup of energy, his what he brings to this situation. He's pouring it out, his expectations, his desires, his want for being in this. I feel here that somebody is moving, you know, away from somebody else. Underneath the King of Cups, you have the, okay, you have the Queen of Wands. This is somebody who takes action in her life. Pisces often will come up as the Queen of Wands as well because of the connection to the occult here, the little cat, the black cat, the connection there. The Queen of Wands is connected to the occult. She's very psychic, intuitive. She pays attention to those things. But more so, well, not more so, and in addition to that, she is somebody who goes after what she wants in her life. She's somebody who sees what it is that makes her feel excited, and she's emboldened by it, and she goes after it. She takes care to get involved with that. It's excellent energy to step into, especially when you're reworking your life, especially when you are choosing to do things on your own terms, making this a possibility for you to change your life and going in directions that you actually feel connected to. If you're into writing, if you're into artistry, whatever it is, baking, whatever it is, do these things to get away from the energy that you've been spending in stagnation, because when you start to put it into other things that cause creativity and growth in your life, that growth takes on a life of its own, and it also starts to generate energy regarding its own growth with the things that come to you. After that, after the Queen of Wands, you have the World card. The World card talks about finality. It talks about releasing things, letting go of things that are done. It's lessons, huge lessons. And so it's life-changing events, things that change your life. You know, here, what I feel is like this Queen of Wands is looking dead straight at him. We're pouring out the cup, and she's like, no, I'm going to do my thing my way. I don't need this from you. Thank you for sharing your feelings. I'm going on my own path. Finale time. Show me the Ten of Wands for Pisces. The Two of Pentacles for the Ten of Wands here, Pisces. The Two of Pentacles talks about balance. It talks about restoring balance. It talks about harmony within that. It can talk about balancing the emotional and the physical. It can talk about balancing your pocketbook, balancing your life out financially, what makes, you know, two different options to go towards, jobs, people, directions in your life, you know. Here, I feel this is, with this, I'm going to read it as the Ace of Wands after getting up all that burden, with this Ten of Wands. Here, it's like, which direction do I want to go in? Like, what do you want to hone into your life? What craft do you want to hone? What do you want to do? What is going to bring you the most abundance in your life? This is the Ten of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. The Ten of Pentacles talks about satisfaction. It talks about financial abundance, you know, being steady within yourself, being wealthy. Now, you know, I know that that may be a stretch for some people, but plant the seeds. Plant the seeds for that to happen and continually water them, continually revise things, look at things, go down different avenues, explore, don't stay stagnant. What I'm feeling here is a necessity to release stagnancy from the past and recognize it for what it is. And when it comes up again in your life, release it. Recognize it for what it is, recognize the frustrations that come with it, and release it, and immediately go towards what it is that you know is going to be helpful for you. Water those plants, water those seeds, you know, pay attention to that kind of stuff, Pisces. This is satisfaction, it's happiness, it's connectivity to what you want, okay? I'm going to pull an oracle card for you, Pisces, and we will call this reading done. Show me for Pisces. Pisces. You had two cards popping out here, Pisces, so I'm going to read both of them. The first one is Slug, and the second one is Badger. All right, so where's Slug? Slug. Steadfastness, pacing, masculine, feminine. Here in the Pacific Northwest, slugs, especially the pictured banana slug, are a very common sight during the fall. The slug encourages us to slow down, which can be difficult in this fast-paced world. It is persistent and focuses on its goal. Focus on your goals. Reaching it at its own pace. Absolutely, absolutely, guys. It will get there eventually, and it knows it. Slugs are also hermaphroditic, making them the perfect balance of the masculine and feminine. That's also your sign, Pisces, the fish, masculine, feminine duality back and forth. That's also aspects of that. I just want to read this again. The slug encourages us to slow down, which can be difficult in this fast-paced world. It is persistent and focuses on its goal, reaching it at its own pace. It will get there eventually, and it knows it. Okay, Badger. Badger. Persistence, self-reliance, warrior spirit. Badgers are solitary, independent creatures that dig very extensive underground burrow systems for their homes. To badger somebody is to bother them with unyielding tenacity. When cornered, badgers are also known to be very fearless, able to fend off predators much larger than them. They have a determined fighting spirit that encourages us to be brave and sure of ourselves. If somebody is coming to you and it feels just like anxiety, fighting, frustration, be careful of how you approach it. You know, I know, have the strength of a badger, but also have the patience and understanding where we don't fly off the handle. Somebody who is flying off the handle and upset in the way that they communicate is ineffective in their communication. Be patient, be slow, be genuine in your feelings, but please don't lose your shit, okay? All right, Pisces, I love you guys. I hope that this reading was helpful. My name is Isel. I'm on YouTube as the Altruistic Mystic. And if you found it helpful, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you choose to donate, the link in the description, the link is in the description box below. All right, I hope everything's well. Take care, you guys. Bye-bye.